Grief is a deeply personal journey, one that doesn't follow a set of timeline or specific sets of rules. It can be messy, unpredictable, and at times overwhelming. But one thing is certain: allowing yourself to grieve is the first step toward healing. At difficult times like these, give yourself permission to take a break from efficiency and productivity. It is okay to pause and grieve. In today's episode, my guest will be sharing her personal experience of losing her mother and the emotional process that followed. Through her journey, she discovered the power of embracing grief rather than suppressing it. She's now writing a book to encourage others to give themselves permission to grieve fully and without guilt. If you've ever struggled with loss or know someone who has, this episode is a reminder that healing begins when we acknowledge our emotions. Then you can move forward and start working on other things. But before we dive into today's episode, hello, mamas and papas in the house. What do you want in a storybook? Here are my top things that I look out for in storybooks. Number one, they must be relatable. Number two, they should teach important lessons. Number three, they should have great illustrations. I love illustrations. And finally, they should be fun to read. Mama's Daycare is all of the above. Check it out on Amazon and check out my other storybooks to read with your kids or gift a child a storybook. You will find the links for these storybooks in the description below and this episode's webpage. Have you noticed that our experiences in life can affect the way we do things? Joining me in today's episode is Stephanie Boudreaux, a strategic brand consultant with 15 plus years of experience in marketing. Stephanie is the CEO of Boudreaux Consulting Industries. Most recently, she has developed a passion for neuro-linguistic programming, and she's here today to share how these things have given her insight and have helped shape her, especially during a family crisis. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. It was great. I'm really happy to be here and I'm excited to talk with you today.
Oh, thank you. When we were talking earlier on, you told me that you lost your mom a while ago. How long ago was that?
I lost my mother in October of 2013. She was diagnosed for uh, stage four terminal cancer for colon cancer, and it then metastasized to her brain.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry to hear that. One of the most
you.
difficult emotions that we could face is the loss of a loved one. And I cannot even imagine what you have gone through. Are you an only child or do you have siblings?
I am an only child, and for the majority of my life, it was just my mother and myself. So it was like losing half of me. So
Wow, that is so sad. I mean, for many others, they would have maybe siblings to run through. You could share things together. But with you, you don't have anyone else but your mom. And that was the best thing that you lost. I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah.
So how did that affect you and what do you think you could have done differently looking back?
It came out of the blue. So I really didn't have an opportunity to prepare for myself. During the last 2 months of her life, I was focused on taking care of her and neglected me. So when she actually passed, I should go back and say that she and I, we had to have a very, very adult conversation. My mother was lucid during the day, so it was easy to discuss things regarding doctor's appointments and what were going to be the next steps, the things that I had to discuss with the doctor to prepare her. And the doctor, her doctors told me that she had lost so much weight, so they wanted me to add at least 30 pounds to her to prepare her for the chemotherapy. Now, my mother was a very, very small woman in the beginning. So she had lost at least 40 pounds by the time I had this conversation with her doctor. And I just started just preparing food and cooking for her and having her eat all of these things to gain all this weight to prepare for her chemotherapy. And then I realized that it was her time. So it was really wrong of me and it was selfish of me to try and force her body to do something that it wasn't prepared for. And I knew, and that's when I realized that she was doing this because she didn't want me to be alone. And I had to stop being the selfish only child and become the adult and let her know that I'm not going to make you do these things because you physically can't. So we're going to take this one day at a time and we're going to prepare best as we can. And if you can't do it, I want you to say that you can't do it. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but it is hurting my feelings that I'm forcing you to do something. So I had to stop being the selfish only child and take control and unfortunately let things progress to the end result.
I would say don't beat yourself up because you did what you thought was good for her, and I'm sure you loved her. I wouldn't really think you were selfish. I was thinking you were putting in your best to see that she lives. Because, like you say, she's the other half of you. She's the only person you've known. Yes, it's very um, normal for people to blame themselves when they lost someone. In that, when you look at the final moments, the final um, encounters that you have, you may think that there was possibly something you could have done that you didn't do. But I think you did what you were there for her. That is what matters.
Yes.
You were there for her. So you are writing a book. What is it about?
Well, originally it started as a way for me to journal and talk about our relationship and talk about the last 2 months of her life. They were hard, but there were a lot of funny moments. My mother did it. My mother was by far the funniest person that I had ever met. But she didn't share her humor with everyone. She was very personal about it because she didn't trust a lot of people. And the last couple months, she was just hilarious, the things that she did. Uh, so it started off focusing on that. It has now changed since I've changed. And now it's about talking about how to prepare for the loss of a parent, especially in a situation if you're an only child, because we are never prepared to not have our parents. So now it's progressed to that, and hopefully I will sprinkle some of the humor because my mom was very funny. But I'm hoping that with the neuro-linguistic program that I'm studying and it's helping me to change my behavior and provided me with a lot of steps and recipes for self-care during COVID when all of the grief really hit me. So I'm hoping to put that in a book and I'm hoping to turn this kind of into maybe a grief and trauma coaching business for me to help people deal with these crises.
Good. So you've been thinking of doing this for a while now. I'm happy you mentioned that no one is ever prepared for death.
Right.
I mean, death, it may seem natural, but no, it's not. I mean, it will be a discussion for another day. I will not go into that for now. And that is
Right.
why people are always in shock when it happens because, I mean,
Yes.
when we want to eat, food is natural. So we're not going to be shocked that we're eating food. We're not going to be shocked that we're doing other things that we do. But death often shocks people because it's not human. But anyway, like I said, we're going to discuss this a discussion for another day. So no one is ever prepared for that. And if you've gone through that type of situation, of course, everyone has a story. And your story is depending on how you write it, it's great. It's motivating. It's something that could encourage someone in similar situations. I can't remember. Your dad, was he part of your life?
No, no, my father was not a part of my life.
So
And so I missed that additional crutch to lean on during taking care of her and preparing and planning the funeral and all of the things that I had to do. Luckily, my mother planned her own funeral to take that off my plate. So that was one less thing for me to do. But even when you plan that, you still have to go through the emotional part of that. So I'm hoping that this book will help not only only children, I would think maybe even the youngest of the family, who was the last child, to help understand and help prepare for the next step of going through the steps of grieving and not getting stuck at the bargaining stage or the self blame stage. To know that um, you it happens, so you have to deal and take your time. Don't rush through it because grief. The great thing about grief is that even if you get through it, it's still waiting for you,
yeah,
and that's something that I had to learn. I threw myself into work and everything, and didn't let myself grieve. And then COVID hit, so I was at home, and I had grief was waiting, so I had to work myself through it.
no, I mean I've read publications before that talked about grieving, and they've told it's always best to grieve, to cry. Allow yourself to cry if you need to cry.
Yes,
It's part of the healing. It's part of therapy. I mean, everybody is different, so the way we all will grieve under the same or similar circumstances is going to be different. But the bottom line is allow yourself to grieve. Because when we stop
yes,
that natural process from taking place, it kind of makes life more difficult and stalls a person from moving forward to the next stage in their
yes.
life.
I didn't listen to my body. And, your body tells you what you need. When you're hungry, it'll tell you. When you're thirsty, it'll tell you. When you're tired, it'll tell you. I
Yeah,
didn't listen to mine. I didn't want to grieve. I believe the reason why I didn't was because I didn't want to let go.
yeah.
And which is why I didn't.
It's your mom. Moms are special.
Yeah, yeah.
Moms are special. We don't want
hmm
to lose them at any age.
No,
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 moms are
I didn't.
special. So I truly feel for you, Stephanie. So would you say the time you spent not allowing yourself to grieve was wasted?
I thought about that. And the first time that we talked, I said yes. Now I'm going to have to say no because when you are ready, that's when you're ready. You can't make yourself be ready for this. So I'm going to say no, no. I grieved when I was supposed to in the way that I was supposed to. I didn't let myself grieve, but luckily I had and have amazing friends and family that understood why I wasn't allowing that to happen, and they didn't try to force the issue. And then when it finally happened during COVID, being home alone for a couple of years, I developed the perfect plan for me. I started screaming when I needed to, crying when I needed to. I developed a self care plan, not just for my outside, but also my inside. I changed my entire diet. I lost the 60 pounds that I had put on being sedentary and being depressed, and came out the other side. And now that when I think about these things regarding my mother, I don't think of them with sadness. I think of them with joy.
Well done. Well done. You've come a long way then for you to get
Yes.
to the point where you can talk about her and feel joy. I mean, that means
Hmm.
move up to the next level. And now you can start living life again.
Yes.
You can now start
Yes.
planning your life. You can now start making things happen because when you've not gone through or go past that grieving process, it kind of stalls everything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Without you
Absolutely.
knowing, you might be going to work, you might be
Mhm.
doing other things, but maybe the things that matters the most to you, you're not doing them because I like there was something you mentioned right now. You talked about you've you've started caring for yourself, your self-care.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
doing your exercise, you're not keeping an eye on your weight. These are things you may not have considered doing during those periods. And your self-care for me is the number one thing that you should do for yourself in order for you to do anything. Because if you don't take care of you, you cannot take care of anyone else. You cannot take care of anything else. So you've now started looking at those very important things, and
Hmm.
that will move you forward.
Yes.
That will move you forward. So, yes, I agree with you. We all behave differently. We all grieve differently. So when it was time for you to grieve, you grieved.
Hmm.
You've not gone past that stage. I mean, you will always miss your mom until the end of your
Yes.
life. That is the sad truth. You will miss her. But now you can talk to people about her, feeling happiness, feeling joy that, oh, she was a good person. There are things about her I can talk to people about and even laugh about and talk about memories that you and your mom shared while she was here. So I'm so
Yes.
happy that you've gotten to this point, and that is where that's where the healing starts.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
once you start allowing yourself to be healed, then you can start moving forward to the next stage. You can now start doing things that will bring value to your life. So well done. So what advice would you give to someone grieving? Because like you said, none of us plan for grieving. We would rather not be in that state, but it does happen. So what would you say to someone who is going through the same thing now?
The first thing that I would say is listen to your body. Your body tells you what it needs. So if you need to just cry all day, cry all day. If you need to scream, scream. If you're feeling really sad and you need to laugh, watch the movie or the TV show or whatever that makes you laugh. Whatever you need to do, you have to do. Don't close yourself into your grief and get trapped there and you're not moving forward and you're not allowing yourself to live and to love and to find joy.
Thank you very much. So can people check you out? Where can, if someone listening to this podcast and the person wants to know you better, where can they find you?
I do have Instagram and I also have Facebook. And oh, and I also have Threads. Eventually, since I'm reworking the book, I am going to be posting excerpts to kind of help people along. And I'm hoping to start a YouTube page and maybe start talking about things and so that they can see a face with what I'm posting. And
Well done.
so I'm working on it.
So we're going to leave your contact details in this episode's webpage so that people can connect with you. So what is your timeline for writing your book so that they can purchase copies? I know you said you're going to be putting out excerpts from your Instagram account so that people can start knowing what your thought process is like, what to expect in your
Okay.
book. So what is the timeline for writing your book, for completing, so that they know what time to look forward to purchasing your book?
I'm targeting maybe 6 months, maybe. I'm hoping to have it complete and find a wonderful publisher that would appreciate.
Well done. So we will send people to your Instagram accounts, and like you promised, you're going to be putting out the excerpts from your book. Um, what is going to show people is that, yes, you could go through difficult situations like grieving, but you can still come out on the underside. You can still plan out your way and get to the place you want to be. And that is where you are. You're there. You've grieved. You started putting things together. And hopefully your book is going to be out soon. And people can see that it's hard work to put a book out. It shows that you are
Yes.
being able to organize yourself, organize your time, organize everything in your life. You are grieving. You will never forget. You will never lose track of the fact that you lost your mom, but you still need to move forward and then help someone else. Because when you help other people, you're also empowering yourself and making yourself feel better when you help others. So it's a good thing that you've gone through this type of situation. I mean, it's not a good thing your mom died, but it's a good thing that you've gone through this type of situation, but you still see possibilities, you see areas where you can help someone else. And that is why you're writing a book to chronicle your own experience and what other people can do in similar circumstances. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so thank you so much.
Sprinkle with a little humor.
Pardon?
Sprinkle with a little humor.
Yes.
I want it to be so textbooky
No problem.
because I tend to sometimes be that person.
Oh well, I grew up being that kind of person, but now I'm beginning to see that people don't want that. People want that a little bit of humor in things. People want to see things that are relatable, not things that are too booky. So I know that you're you're going to make it as relatable as possible so that people who read your book will be encouraged, they will feel motivated, they will know that they can still move on and do things in their lives. So thank you for coming on the show, Stephanie. We really do enjoy having you here. And thank you for all of you who tuned in to this episode of the Minute Mastery Podcast. If you have found today's episode helpful, please subscribe and share it with others who might benefit from it. And join us next time as we explore more strategies to optimize your daily routines. Thank you and bye for now.
Thank you so much.